All right, so today's lesson is called Standard Palooza, and it's all about using standard form. All right, so our past lessons, we've been mainly working with slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. Today we're going to talk about the other form that you'll commonly see equations written in, which is standard form, which is this, ax plus by equals c. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff with this today, specifically with how it relates to graphing and how to convert from one form to the other. So let's get started. A says convert the equations from standard form to slope-intercept form. All right, we've done this. The biggest thing we're going to do today, besides just converting straight and forth, is pay attention, watch your negatives. All right, so let's jump in with example number 1. So I want to convert this to slope-intercept form, which means I need y by itself. So let's get rid of these x's first. So it leaves me with 3y equals negative 2x plus 9. I don't care what 3y is. I want to know what y is. So divide both sides by 3. So y equals negative 2/3 x plus 3. All right, next equation. Once again, I want y by itself, so I'm going to add x to both sides. So I get negative y equals x plus 3. But I want to know what negative y is. I want to know what y is. So I can either, to get rid of the negative, I can either divide or multiply both sides by -1. I like multiplying personally, so I'm going to multiply both sides by -1. So this gives me y equals negative x minus 3. All right, third equation. Once again, subtract x's from both sides. Negative 9y equals negative 4x plus 18. Divide both sides by -9. Y equals 4/9 x minus 2. All right, example number 4, and our last one that we're converting today. So add 6x to both sides. So 2y equals 6x plus 8. Divide both sides by 2. So y equals 3x plus 4. All right, so that's our first time. Next thing we're going to do today is using what's called the cover-up method to find the x and the y intercepts. All right, so let's talk for a second, what exactly is an intercept? Y'all remember from slope-intercept form, let me just draw a quick graph, that the y-intercept is the place where the graph crosses the y-axis, right? So it's where y equals something and x equals 0. So for the y-intercept, x equals 0. Well, it's exactly the same type of thing for the x-intercept. It's where your graph crosses the x-axis, so it's where y equals 0. All right, and in order to do this, we're going to use what's called the cover-up method. Now, for you're doing this at home, you can actually physically put your finger over top of this and cover it up. You can't see me putting my finger on my screen to do this, so I'm going to actually just doodle over the thing, and then we'll erase. All right, so let's start with covering up the y and solving for x to find the x-intercept. So I'm going to cover up my y just exactly like it doesn't exist. All right, so then I get 2x equals 9. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2. And that gives me that x equals 9/2. All right, and that is my x-intercept. So x equals 9/2. Remember that an intercept is not just a single number, it is actually a coordinate. So my x-intercept is 9/2, 0, because remember y is 0. What the x-intercept, remember, look over here. All right, next we are going to uncover that y. We're going to recover our x. Let me pick a different colored pen here. So now we're going to cover up the x. And we're going to solve for y. So divide both sides by 3. So I get y equals 3. All right, so my y-intercept, my y-coordinate is 3. And remember my x-coordinate is 0. All right, does this make sense? Let's do the next one. All right, so step 1, We're going to solve for the x, cover up the y. Negative x equals 3. Well, I don't want negative x, so I'm going to multiply everything by a negative 1. So I get x equals negative 3. So my x-intercept is negative 3, 0. Let's erase. And let's do our y-intercept. So cover up my x, solve for y, negative y equals 3. Once again, I want to multiply both sides by a negative 1. So I get y equals negative 3. This one was a pretty easy one. All right, remember its coordinates, so 0, negative 3. All right, next. Once again, we're going to do our x-intercept first, so cover up the y. We're going to divide both sides by 4. So x equals 9/2. All right. Then we're going to cover up my y. Sorry, we're going to cover up my x and solve for y. Divide both sides by negative 9. So y equals negative 2. So my y-intercept is 0, 2. All right, last one. Cover up my y, solve for x. X equals negative 4/3. So my x-intercept is negative 4/3, 0. Cover up my x and solve for y. So my y-intercept is 0, 4. All right, so now we've used the cover up method and we found the x and the y-intercepts. All right, the third method, and this is my absolute favorite of the three, is finding the slope from standard form. Until now, our standard approach for finding the slope of an equation has been to convert everything to slope-intercept form. But I am here to show you that there's a trick. There's an easier way. You don't have to do the work of converting it to slope-intercept form. You can get the slope directly from the standard form. And what you need to know for this is we have a formula that says slope is equal to negative a over b. All right, for this to work, you have to remember that standard form is ax plus by equals c. All right, so we need a, we need b. All right, so let's look here. First one, we're going to identify a and b and then find the slope. All right, so a is the number in front of the x, so that's 2. B is the number in front of the y, which this is 3. And our formula is negative a over b. So a is 2, so negative a, negative 2 over b, which is 3. So negative 2/3. All right, let's continue on. A here for the next example is negative 1. B is negative 1. So I want negative a. Well, it's already negative. So what happens when you make a negative negative? Right, it turns it positive. So I've got a positive 1 over b, which is negative 1. So 1 over negative 1, that means my slope here is just negative 1. All right, continuing on. A is 4, b is negative 9. So negative a over b, so my slope here is 4/9 because a negative divided by a negative is a positive. All right, last one. A is negative 6, b is 2, negative a is going to be positive 6 over 2 over b, which is 2, and 6/2 is 3. Wasn't that easy? So much faster than converting to slope-intercept form. All right, so now that we're, lastly, we're going to graph these guys using the given method. All right, so the first one, method A, is solve for y. This is the slope-intercept method. All right, so we want y by itself. So subtract 2x from both sides. So that leaves me with 3y equals negative 2x plus 9, divide by 3. So y equals negative 2/3 x plus 3. Then we graph it. Y-intercept is 3, down 2 over 3, up 2 to the left 3, and there's my line. Ooh. There we go, that's much better. All right, next one, find the x and the y-intercepts. This is method B, this is the cover-up method. So for the x-intercept, we cover up y. So my x-intercept equals negative 3, 0. My y-intercept, I'm going to cover up my x. So my y-intercept is 0, negative 3. All right, and then let's graph this guy. So y-intercept is 0, negative 3. So right here, my x-intercept is negative 3, 0. And look, we can draw a line. All right, next find the slope and the y-intercept. This is method C. So find the slope. This is the negative a over b formula. So a is 4, so negative a is going to be negative 4 over b, which is negative 9. So my slope is 4/9. So we know my slope. But we don't know our y-intercept, do we? So let's think about this for a second. If we were going to convert this to slope-intercept form, right? Let's just think this through. First, we're going to take this 4x and we're going to move it over here, right? So it's going to be a negative 4x. And then we're going to divide both sides by b. We're going to divide both sides by this negative 9. So when we do that, we end up with this negative 4/9. This is positive 4/9, right? Because this ends up being negative. So 4/9 for our slope, but our c over here, which is going to end up being our b in our slope-intercept form. What happens to it? Well, this is 18. We're going to end up dividing it by negative 9. So this is going to end up being negative 2. So remember our formula that we've just thought about for finding slope from standard form is c over b, and this equals our y-intercept. Okay, so c divided by b, so 18 divided by negative 9 is 2. Sorry, negative 2. All right, so our slope, our y-intercept is negative 2. Our slope we know is 4/9, so I'm going to go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Something's not working right. So let's do this approximately. Let's kind of divide this guy in half. So if I divided it in half, I'd only go up 2 and I'd go over 4.5. So let's do that. Up 2 and over 4.5. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. All right, this is not ideal, but this is the best graphs I got to work with. So I'm going to go down 2, 1, 2, and I'm going to go to the left 4.5. 1, 2, 3, 4.5. All right. So if we were to count from our lower point here to our upper point, we're going to find this whole 4/9. All right, so let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I went up 4, and then let's look how far right we went. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, does everybody see how that works? I had to split it in half to get it on this teeny tiny graph, but when we go from our lower point to our upper point, then we get our full 4/9 slopes, just so you can see it. All right, let's go ahead and draw our line. All right, last one. Pick any method you like. Doesn't matter what you do. Personally, I like this one. That's my absolute favorite because I find it the easiest, so let's do that. Negative a over b, so a is negative 6, so I want to make that negative, make it the opposite, so positive 6 over b, which is 2. So m, my slope equals 3, and my y-intercept is c over b, so 8 divided by 2 equals 4. So my y-intercept is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. My slope is 3. I can't go up 3 and right 1, so I'm going to have to go down 3 and left 1, down 3, 1, 2, 3 and left 1, down 3 and left 1, and then I draw my line. If you like to put it in the slope-intercept form, that is absolutely fine. Whatever way works best for you. All right, and that is all we have for today. Have fun with your homework. Let me know if you have any questions. Have a great day, guys.